Welcome everybody to the Not Fancy League Award Show. It's that time of year, everybody's favorite time of year when we're handing out the awards. Uh, Tyler, any thoughts on the award show? I introduced it seamlessly, I think.
Yeah, no, perfect. A little underdressed this year, mostly because nobody watches this and we don't care.
Mostly because I didn't want to put a suit on. That's the number one reason.
Yeah, we had like 15 minutes to record this before we had to go do stuff. So,
So there you go. But let's just get right into it. First award, most prestigious award, hardest award to win, Champion of the Year. Congratulations, Team Blasi. What a thrilling game. Came down to Monday Night Football. Basically, DeAndre Swift gets tackled at the 1, and Jalen Hurts runs it in, and that gives Team Blasi the lead. They don't give it back, and they squeak out a 3-point championship win. So congratulations, Team Blasi. Bottom 4 to champ.
I mean, it came down to like the last 3 plays where Jalen Hurts ran for 30 yards, and then there was an interception, which when we were watching it live, we almost thought that would have brought it down. But that play right beforehand, that rush for 30 yards really changed the game.
Yeah, no, it actually did, because he won by 3 points, and that was 30 yards. Like, it was legitimately, at the very end, as close as it gets. An exciting championship game. So congrats, Team Blasi.
Congrats for, I think, was he the second pick from last year to now the champion? So
yeah, I think he was like the 3 or 4 pick. Like I said, bottom 4 to champ.
Yeah. Now we got the MVP. This is a positional, a player. There's a few different options, but when you're thinking about playoffs and then just people want points. We got the guy with the most points, Christian McCaffrey.
CFC. I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised by that. He was an absolute dog all year. He's good. I mean, he's really good. He catches the ball, he runs the ball, he scores touchdowns. In contention was Raheem Mostert, but CFC's just a little cooler.
Yeah, definitely, and more consistent. Good year to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. So moving from our prestigious awards to one of our lowest awards, this is the collapse of the year. And this was a team that started out at 5-1. They were awesome. Lost 4 in a row at 5-5, and then lost in the catch-up week to not make the playoffs. This is just 2 Justins. The Justins weren't elite this year. Both Justin Herbert and Justin Fields got hurt, weren't putting up great numbers. So yeah, the 2 Justins let you down.
You hate to see it. Now it's going in. Last year, Justin Fields was maybe like untouchable, and now he might not be a starting quarterback.
Now he might not be a keeper, which is crazy.
Yeah. Wild league we have. But now we'll go from the lows to the highs. We'll go playoff MVP. A shock, I would say. Maybe not from a certain fan base that supports him, but, James Cook dropping 25 points in the first round and then following it up with 36. I mean, shout out to James Cook, really making end of the year push.
Yeah, pretty much put the team on his back. 36 points in the championship. I mean, that was the highest score, I think, of the playoffs. And I don't think anyone saw that coming. He was Team Blasi's RB2, and he was great. He was fantastic in the playoffs.
Exactly. Great
job.
So
once again, moving to the lows, we got the tank of the year. Maybe this is a high, if that's what your goal was. The tanker of the year. And this is the Alamo. They secured both the first and the third pick in the first round. This year they'll have the first pick and everything. They finished dead last, and I think that was their goal. So congrats to the Alamo on securing Marvin Harrison Jr., most likely.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun.
It is fun.
Trade away the last second. I can recommend that. Now who do we got? We got the bust of the year. There's a few candidates. We've gone outside of football and done, Anthony Edwards, Zion Williams, maybe. But we decided it's a 3-horse race. And since it's the bust of the year, their only nominations, nobody wins, of Alexander Madison, Najee Harris, and Miles Sanders.
Yeah, congrats, guys. You guys were all horrible. If you picked one of those guys, you probably regretted it. They all had jobs, and they all kind of lost their jobs, and they all were I think bottom 30 RBs who weren't really even hurt this year.
Yeah, so especially a few of them were second or third rounders. So
yeah,
bust of the years, those guys. Now we're gonna go back to manager awards, and if you've been paying attention to any of these episodes, it's not a surprise. The Ryan Day of the year. And now when you think of Ryan Day, you think a guy that had a good team, playoff team consistently, and then a new guy comes in, thinks he's hot shit, talks a lot of crap in the chat, and then turns out he can't even make the playoffs. He gets beat by his rival, The Ryan Day Year Award goes to Ground and Pound. I'll tell his legal name, Zach Steffen. Doesn't make it. The Ryan Day Award. Congrats. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else was going to get that award. That was kind of tailor-made for Ground and Pound time. So congrats, Zach, on your prestigious Ryan Day of the Year award. All right, moving into the oldest roster of the year. Maybe your roster needed a shake-up. Oldest roster of the year. We got Tortoise Lips. You have, I wrote them all down here. You got Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Joe Mixon, and Aaron Jones. You didn't make the playoffs this year. You were actually bottom 4. Maybe a shake-up on the horizon. Oldest roster of the year for Tortoise Lips. Congrats on having all the old guys.
Tortoise Lips, just throwing it out there. I have Adam Thielen if you want him. From the old boys to the young boys, we got the rookies of the year. So we're going to 2 winners this year. We got the Stroud boys himself, C.J. Stroud, and we got the Iowa product himself, Mr. Sam Laporta. Both dominant. Sam Laporta himself, a third, top 3 tight end, probably a top 2 or 1 dynasty tight end. And C.J. Stroud looks like a top 5 dynasty quarterback. Finished this year's top 10. Yeah.
And then just big shout out to Sam Laporta because I love Sam Laporta. Most touchdowns by a tight end this year. Scored the most touchdowns in that position group. That's pretty impressive for a rookie. That's great. Congrats. And then tying in who maybe gave up Sam Laporta, we have most birds of the year. And I think we all know who's getting the most birds of the year award. Probably wanted a different award. Probably wanted champion of the year, but came up 3 points short. Congrats to Bird Up. You had 6 birds. That's what you got this year. Not a championship. You get 6 birds. Congrats to Bird Up.
Here we go. Prestigious.
And then moving into, I think, my favorite award. And this is the average fantasy player of the year. Last year, Terry McLaurin won this. It was a player that, like, if you had him on your team, you're like, yeah, he's good. I'll start him every week. And if you didn't have him, you probably didn't care. So our average player of the year this year, Tony Pollard. Congrats to Tony Pollard. He was the number 11 running back. He only went over 20 points once. He went under 8 points 3 times. He was kind of just mediocre. And people thought he was going to be better than he was, but he really wasn't that bad. He was still the number 11 running back. So there you go. Average player of the year.
Yep. Congrats, I guess. I don't know if that's...
Yeah. Way to fulfill expectations.
Yep. Help fantasy teams. And now we have the Red Sox First to Worst Award. No wonder than Pound Cake themselves, from the champs to now 8th place. And not even getting a good draft pick. Tough spot to beat. The duality
Traded
of
their
this
draft
league is real.
pick. Traded their draft pick to try to make a run back into the playoffs. Ultimately didn't get it. Won the thing last year. Went back down. That's what the Red Sox did. They went from first to worst, but the Red Sox, in classic Red Sox fashion, won next year. So maybe we have to look out. He's on the lookout for next year. If that's the case, then he actually wins Red Sox first to worst to first award. That would be next year. Now this year, just Red Sox first to worst because it's a lot of words.
Too many words. First to worst to worst to first.
This is actually probably my favorite award. I keep giving out all my favorite awards. Russell Wilson's Bathroom Player of the Year. And this was Russell Wilson last year, threw more touchdowns. Last year, Russ had more bathrooms in his house than he threw touchdown passes. And this year, I think we have a player with a similar stat, a bunch of money and no touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo, 3 years, $72 million, and he only threw 7 touchdowns. So probably a pretty nice house, might have more than 7 bathrooms, and only threw 7 touchdowns. So congrats to Jimmy Garoppolo on Russell Wilson's Bathroom Player of the Year.
$10 million per TD, not bad.
It's pretty good.
And then we got the Consistency Award. You can also name it the Joel Embiid Award. For we got the Munchettes for the only team making the playoffs twice and then doing nothing. Losing both times in the first round. Munchettes, I also think, had the second most points in the league. The Joel Embiid making the playoffs and just do nothing. Congrats.
Yeah, the regular season team of the year award.
Yeah.
You won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
And then you lost.
There you go. You're the Boston Bruins.
So there you go. This is our very last award here. The hardest league to win award, as it is every year. It's the Not Fantasy League, hardest league to win in all of fantasy football. Congratulations again to Team Blossy and all of our managers on what I think was a very successful season. We'll see you again next year, which I think it's going to change a little bit. Go ahead.
We didn't keep up the stats, but again, I won the egg bet, so we're just going to add that to the total. So Robert has more eggs to get thrown at, and the video will still be coming out. We're looking at March 1st as Robert's getting eggs.
That's possible. There's a slight chance that happens.
That's good. Watch a 3-hour movie in that.
Maybe. But there might be some changes coming to the show format next year. We'll see how what we do, where the state of the league is, what the state of what we're doing is. But I would guarantee that we're back. We're going to be back making videos next year in some form or another. Hopefully I come back to a normal schedule. I stop working second shift so we can record at a normal time.
Yeah, there will be a State of the Union in the off season from the commissioner. Be waiting for that.
Something along those lines.
I just made you have
all right. Take care, everybody. This was the Not Fantasy League Award Show, most prestigious award show in the entire world. Have a great summer. And no, I mean have a great winter and summer.